It worked first time. Just wait for Hannah to join. You can all just look at me, just looking at the screen. I'm terrible at intros. Oh. Hi guys. Just waiting for Hannah. She's ready, rock steady. Hi. Oh God, maybe she's not ready, rock steady. Here she is. Hi, Matthew. Is this gonna work? Yay!
I was trying to request and it wasn't working. I was like,
because someone else requested before you. So I was just, yeah, I know. Everyone wants to be on my Instagram. I don't know who it is either. Hopefully we won't get the guy who wants to know if I can lift him above my head today. Oh. He needs to lose 10 kilos and I'm there. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm there. Oh, I really thought that this lockdown wasn't as bad at first because we've done it all before. And then yesterday it was just like, this lockdown's the worst.
Yeah.
I just can't go outside and the weather lifts your mood, right?
If I ruin another pair of trainers on a muddy walk, I'm going to be livid.
Get yourself some wellies, my girl. I'm just getting fat and happy instead. I'm doing about, how many steps have I done today? I've done 6,000 because I went somewhere to get my phone fixed. Yeah, but usually it's about 2,000 for lockdown. But I'm bulking, right? So I'm not that fussed about my calorie expenditure. I'm so unfit. I'm just like wheezing like a monster. But I'm getting strong.
We've talked about this before in other off seasons about like keeping walking and keeping movement. And when we were both going to work, it was fine.
Yeah. But when I commute to work and back again, it's like 8,000 steps.
Yeah.
So I just need to do a little top up, 2,000. Great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not expending many calories. I can tell you that much. My maintenance calories are way down. They're like, well, if I train hard, 2,000.
So my like average is, okay, this is with 15 to 20,000 steps and training, 2,000.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? My maintenance, so if I trained legs before, I'd be hitting 3,000 calories easily. But now it's like 2. And it's like, okay.
I don't think I've ever hit 3,000 in my life.
Oh, really? I'm quite, in London, we just don't have cars, right? Usually. So we walk everywhere.
Because of the lockdown, I've basically stopped using my car. Even if I have to go to the supermarket, I'm walking.
I've gone the other way. I drive everywhere now. So I drive to the supermarket. It's a 5-minute walk. It's raining.
Mine's like half an hour.
Midas has come to say hello to everybody. I need to put him on my lap. Right, so let's get chatting. Yeah. Don't cry though. Because I know you're gonna have a different, well, anyone that watched the live that I did on Monday with Erin Thompson, she's very much of the mentality, I don't give a fuck what I look like. I need to improve. I need to build muscle. And I'm 50% that, and I'm 50% the way that you felt last year. And I have moments where I just absolutely think, you absolute moose, how can you look like that? And other moments where I'm like, you're strong, you're sleeping, you're healthy, your bum's growing, your hair's growing. But yeah, I don't really have any rhyme or reasons for feeling one way or the other. It just, you know, sometimes I wake up and I feel great and I don't care. And other times I'm like, damn,
Literally, sometimes I wake up and I've not even got out of bed. I've not even pulled back the covers yet. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like a house. And that's just, I'm just like, don't even look in the mirror today. And I just pray that that's not a check-in. But like at the weekend, I just didn't check in. And my coach texts me at like midday. He was like, babes, are you actually okay?
Yeah.
And I said, do you know what? I just had a really negative morning. Like I woke up and I felt shit. So I didn't want to get on the scales. I didn't want to check in. I didn't want to put myself in that emotional state where I was like, here's a video of me where I look and feel shit. And now I'm going to talk about the fact I feel shit. And then you're going to tell me, no, it's great. And then I'm going to do my natural thing of, no, everything's shit. I'm huge.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to do it. So I was like, fine, I'm not going to. And that has been a massive game changer. Like not checking in when I feel really shit. And I'm not saying like, don't ever check in because it keeps you accountable. But if you know all you're going to do is spew negative crap, don't check in.
Do you know, for me, it's like you see so little progress in the way you look in the off season because it's all bubbling underneath. That there is no need to check in every week. That's what I think anyway. I check in about 3 times in an off season because I've been doing it a long time. My coach knows we always have a chat at the start of the off season.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need to do? She just begs me to be consistent and make sure I'm eating enough. The eating thing's not a problem, Laura. Not a problem. The consistency.
Last night, 2 cookie doughs
and a pancake. I felt really shit. I'm getting made redundant. I was just like, do you know what? I should have done my CV today and I didn't. Let's gorge. So I had half a cookie dough as my pre-workout today. But yeah, I think it's right what you said. You don't need to be checking in all the time to feel shit in a bikini.
No.
Because, I mean, we have these gorgeous bikinis from Georgia Rose, right? But they ain't for off season. I'm not even going to lie. I know they're adjustable, but mine does not look good.
My thought process on this is, and I actually saw Danny Bodsworth post something about this like a couple of months ago, and it was just after show, and she made the point of IFBB, MPC, and even a PCA side pose.
Yeah.
Like, for the girls and guys here that don't know anything about bodybuilding and the poses that we have to hit, you think that we get into this pose because it's going to make us look better.
Yeah.
No. Like that shows up everything. So like Danny was like, I'm not going to do those poses. I'm going to check in different poses that are going to make me feel good.
Yeah.
So like I might check in. I might not post my check-in picture because I don't actually like that picture. But I do like when I stand in a certain way and that makes me feel good. So I'm like, yeah. So one of the girls has just said the same thing. She feels exactly the same. Like you're off season. Those poses don't feel good. So like don't do something that doesn't feel good. No need for it.
Is there a point where you start to feel like I'm too big now? Like, have you got a sweet spot that you know already? Because mine, I'm like, my body kind of sits naturally about 64, 65 kilos. I compete at 55, right? So I usually sit about 9 or 10 up. And I've got a bit of a belly. That's why I hold it. But it's not that much, you know, like I'm just being stupid. Looking back, I'm just being stupid because now I'm 72
I remember your last
kilos.
year, you were like, I'm huge. And I'm like, babe, you are not huge.
Honestly, but it takes you getting huge to realise that you were being ridiculous because now I look at, sorry, my phone keeps unplugging and it's not charging and then it's going to go off in the middle. Hopefully that works. Yeah, now I'm 72 kilos, which is how many up? 30, 20 kilos roughly. I'm going to, 18 kilos. Now I'm holding some fat on my stomach. And I look back at those 65 kilos and I'm like, you're an idiot.
But if you compare your last year to this year, both side by side picture and
the growth I'm experiencing
doesn't even.
Yeah, the muscle growth I'm experiencing at this much higher body fat is insane.
Crazy.
It obviously is what my body needed to do. I always thought being 10 kilos up is just, I mean, it's normal, right? Most people do tend to sit about 10.
Yeah.
But it clearly wasn't enough food for me to grow. But also I have changed my training a lot this year. I'm more experienced now. I needed a different type of stimulus. So I started training with Lily.
Yeah.
Who is An bastard. Like, the very first exercise I did with her ever was 100 reps on the leg extension on my working weight that I usually do 12 with. And I thought I was going to die. I literally like, was just literally like, now I wear a t-shirt, not to hide the fat, but just to like.
It's like only so far you can go, and then your legs just don't.
You can't walk. So the next exercise would be the leg press, and I wouldn't be able to feel my legs on the leg press.
You do leg extensions, then a leg press.
Oh, she's an arsehole. And the leg press starts at 50 reps. The next set is 45, then 40. And we're not talking like lighter weight because it's higher reps. We're talking some big weight here. And it's how she grew. And it's working. And it's working for me as well. But I would never. If my coach had sent me this plan, I would have laughed.
Yeah.
But if I'd done that plan on my own, I would have taken a lot of breaks, you know. It wouldn't have been as grueling, but she's screaming, "You're a pussy," in my face 24/7. I could be doing the biggest PB of my life and she'll just be going, "You're a pussy." And I'm like, I'm going to kill you. But that's why I started eating so much. So I've always eaten about 3,000 calories a day in the off season, but I've started eating way more because I needed the recovery aspect. I needed to fuel because obviously that first few weeks, my DOMS, my whole CNS was just so fucked.
When you're training like that, your recovery needs that food.
Yeah, like it was so bad. But actually, so I started to eat to recover. It wasn't about muscle gain, although the training is obviously for muscle gain. But I just let go of what I look like. And I started to think about performance and recovery. So I need to be able to perform in Lily's leg days. I need to eat. Yeah. The food is helping me sleep. It's crazy. It's all like working in synergy. Like everyone always said it does, but it's never worked for me. I've never been able to sleep. I have to take sleeping tablets every night. You know, I've always put on 10 kilos and thought that was enough. I've always eaten a lot.
I've never put on 10 kilos and thought it was enough because everyone puts on 10 kilos.
Yeah.
So that's where you should be sitting,
because
right?
there just weren't that many girls going further than that. And so one of my earliest inspirations for just bulking and stuff was Babs, because Babs put on, I think she put on 20 kilos one off season. And I just saw her, I've known her since the start of her competing, and I just saw her physical growth and mental. Yeah. And I just thought, I wish I could do that. But then I honestly was in that train of thought, which everyone says, you don't need to get that big to grow. And I listened, you know, because you listen to everyone else. They're also having good gains and good experiences. But what you don't realize at the time is most of them are assisted anyway. Yeah. So they're growing because of the steroids. And I'm not saying anything bad about that. It's just that at that time, I had no idea what steroids were. Yeah.
It's so misleading.
Yeah. And so I was doing what everyone else was saying they were doing and not getting the same results because I actually wasn't doing what they were doing. And this year, I just detached away, start to train with Lily. She's obviously much bigger than me, muscularity. I'd stand next to her and just feel like an absolute noodle. And I just thought, I just want to get bigger. And I've got such a little amount of time before I have to get back on stage and diet that I just have to smash it. Smash in the food, smash the training, smash my sleeping. I really prioritize that now.
Yeah.
And I'm big. But I'm growing. My bum is like it's never been before. How would you feel about how was the heaviest above your stage weight you've been?
Mate.
Talk to us about last season, like last off season.
Okay, so before I start, put this in perspective, people. I am 5 foot and I am tiny on stage. So each year I've prepped, I've got lighter. My first ever stage showing, I was 47 kilos, and that was 3.5 years ago. And the last show that I did, I was 44.6 kilos.
Because you get more muscle, but you get leaner as you become more experienced, right?
Yeah. So for those who don't do kilos, that's 99 pounds. And when I figured that out, I was talking to Phoebe, I was like, we were talking about the waist trainers, and I was like, babe, my waist is 21 inches and I'm 99 pounds. She was like, that's fucking disgusting. And I was like, I know.
My waist at the moment is 31 inches. And it doesn't look it in my check-in pictures, which just goes to show people don't realise how wide my back is. Because I'm, right, like, when I see myself in the bodybuilding poses, my composition's fine, so I feel good. It makes me realise how big my back must be, actually, because my waist doesn't look big in that pose. But 31, like, I date men who've got a 32-inch waist, and they're massive power lifters. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but it's like lats as well, isn't it? It's like how far your lats come down, and we've both got a decent set of lats. So, like,
that's why we do well in bikini, though, because we have morphed into the illusion of the X. So how heavy did you get last year?
I went up to 57.6 at my heaviest. So I went from 45 on stage to 57.6. And on my frame, that was a lot to take. Yeah.
But how did you deal with it? Like, why?
Just, I didn't at all. So it was like a mixture of things for me. When I came off stage, I was really, really upset with my placing at the Brits. I felt like it had been taken away from me. And I looked.
And that was the 2019 British.
That was the UKBFF 2019.
Yeah.
And I looked at my stage shots, and I was happy with them, but I was not happy with my rear pose. And I walked off stage, and I was fuming. I said to my coach, I was like, I'm going to be unrecognizable next year. Like, you're not even going to look at the same girl. My rear pose is going to win me. Like, forget about the front pose, forget about my upper body, my rear, that's what's going to win it for me. So he was like, okay, eat, we're gonna go for it. And I did. And then I also got myself into a bit of a controlling relationship, and he was a bit of a feeder, so that didn't help.
I've got one of those, but her name's Lily.
So yeah, like, those things combined. But I was working really, really hard. Like, I was hitting numbers like I've never hit before.
I saw you training at King's. I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
You can't train like that without food.
No way. And I knew that I had to put tissue on. And like, when you're getting to train with people that you massively respect and they're giving up their time for you, you're like, I'm not going to go in there and like pussy out on my session. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to give it. So I'm going to eat for that. And I'm going to stick a baggy t-shirt on. And I'm going to suck up the fact that my legs are being squished in these leggings. And I'm going to suck up the fact that I've gone up 2-3 notches on my belt. I don't care, because I made an agreement with myself that I was not going to step back on stage and look the same. So that was that. And I just ate into it.
It's funny because we have the exact same motivation for getting so uncomfortable, and mine was my placing at Worlds. You know, I'd come first at the British 2 weeks before, and then I was beaten by the girl who came second at the British. Now, don't get me wrong, she fucking deserved it. I actually think she deserved the first at the British, to be honest, because she is insane. And if I'm going to be beaten by anyone, it has to be her.
Yeah.
But that second place lit a fire inside me where I just thought, I stood on that stage and I'd been binging for 2 weeks in between the shows. And I just thought, what if I hadn't done that? You know, what if I'd done what I needed to do? To be honest, I shouldn't have done the British. My mental state wasn't there. Physically couldn't go on anymore. But it's Worlds, not the British, sorry. So I shouldn't have done Worlds. But it was Worlds, and it was the first one, and it's only every 2 years. And I just thought, you've been given this amazing opportunity, go for it. But I couldn't stop eating. And I was full as a house, but I was so watery in my stomach. Like, and I regret, you know, there's just something inside me that said, you fucked up. And next time, you are going to be undeniably the first, like the best. When you walk out on that stage, they won't even need to see you in the lineup.
That was my phrase for 2020. And I have a vision board, and I wrote it down on I think it was December 2019. And I wrote 2020, be undeniable, because I was like, I'm not letting anyone take that away from me. for UKBFF, and I'm sorry to the Fed if I offend anyone, I don't give a shit anymore, I'm not with them. You have to be
skinny,
so good, because they're so twisted and biased that if you're not 10 times better than the one they want to make the winner, then you're not going to win.
Yeah, it's just politics, isn't it? Like,
oh, it's the worst. But I also knew that I was stepping on the Two Bros stage.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a lot. And I just thought to myself, and I didn't really shout about it at first. And I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to embarrass myself and my team stepping onto a stage that I have no place being on. Yeah. So I was like, work.
I want to know when I stand up there that I don't stand out for the wrong reason.
You don't want people to be like, what? Why did she bother?
Yeah. I don't know if you can read the comments because Erin couldn't yesterday, but Rebecca says she's 9 kilos up and her body image till this point has been fucked. Starting to finally accept it, but hate my check-ins when in bodybuilding poses. But for walking around in normal clothes, I like it. I'm the other way round. So I suppose it's because most of my normal clothes don't fit anymore. Because I mean, I'm not just 10 kilos up now. I'm nearly 20, right? So yeah. It's a few dress sizes. So work clothes, like I'm looking for a new job and I'm just thinking, what the fuck if I have to wear stuff that's not lycra? Because in my current job, I can wear anything. Yeah. Unless I'm going to a client meeting. So I legit just wear, I mean, I worked in my gym kit today. So I just wear like a t-shirt and leggings. Yeah. But this is also what I train in.
Lockdown, isn't it?
This is what I train in. Well, at the start of the session, because I'm hot, I'm just my stomach. But in more recent weeks, I don't focus on the bad bits. I'm kind to myself and I focus on the good bits instead. So I have been training in a bra and leggings in front of other people. Yeah. Because I just thought they don't give a fuck if I got a fat stomach. They really don't give two shits. They're more likely to be impressed. Yeah, if I have abs, they're not going to be impressed. But if I can push the whole stack on the machine I'm using, that's more likely going to win me some a nod, you know.
And you know what? That's what I found. Like being small. I mean, I remember when I first met you in person, you were like, "You're a lot smaller than I thought you were going to be."
You're a midget, mate.
Like when I like put a lift on Instagram, whatever it was, people would be like, and I'd get people. I know do you remember before they changed the rules? You could see people sending it round. Yeah, that used to get in my head because I was like, what are they saying?
I lose, so I've obviously started to post the very heavier physique, and I get so many positive comments from women, of course. Yeah. And even some of the guys that have followed me for a while, you know, it's not because they fancy me. They think I'm funny. But I lost a lot of followers over the last few weeks. I'm talking hundreds. Like, I don't care because your people are your people, right? Yeah. And what your vibe attracts, you'll align. Yeah. But there is a tiny little bit inside me that's like, rah, that's because I'm fat. But I've really, really got into a mindset recently. I don't know what clicked inside me, but something just clicked. I think it's time. I've literally got probably 3 months and that's it. I've got to make as much muscle as possible in 3 months. That I stopped looking at the bad bits. I stopped looking at my stomach. I stopped looking at the fat bits on my face because it makes me look younger. So there is a benefit. And I just started looking at my progress instead. And when I look at my check-in, I don't look at my stomach. I know it's there. It's going to be there. I'm starting to look like, are my glutes fuller? Are they, you know, not just bigger because obviously it's fat, but are they rising up? Yeah. Which they will do if it's muscle. Are my delts bigger? Can you still see the lines in my back? Yes. That means my muscle under there is even bigger. If I've still got definition. I look at my logbook. I look at how much I'm lifting. I'm looking at the stamina in my muscle. That's something that you can't really log, but I can get through the 100 reps now, you know, without stopping as many times. I'm getting a lot stronger. And even Lily has started to comment just in the last few weeks, like, damn, I'm bringing it now. I didn't have it when I first started training with her. And it's only been since that 4-week lockdown that we started training together. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just focusing on that, my performance, always gonna stack up in the right way. But I can understand why. I think the reason that we both found it hard is we were single. So you want to be found attractive, you want to date, even though, you know, it's off season, it's fun. You can go out with someone and you can drink and you can eat with them. But you don't want to go on a date because you're making excuses for your physique, first of all. Like, I did it the whole time I was single the last 2 years. I made excuses for the way I looked, which is just inexcusable, really. You know, that I had to do that in my own mind.
Yeah.
They didn't give a shit, did they?
And they didn't even think about it because
no,
they didn't.
Of course not.
They were like, damn, that's why I'm asking her on a date.
But how much was it in your head when you were single and you wanted to meet someone that you didn't want to be naked in front of someone new?
So I'm actually, he agrees. I'm actually weird, right? So this is the first time right now that I've even liked my body. So I'm talking prep and off season. So I actually don't even look in the mirror when I get changed. I think in prep I look rank.
Oh, me too, mate. I look better now.
And so, like, when I'm in prep, I wear the baggy t-shirt. When I'm in off season, I wear the baggy t-shirt. I'll train in a hoodie, even if I'm sweating through it, because I don't want to see that. And last year, to be honest, although I did want to meet someone, I wasn't ready to meet anyone. I could have met people, but I was kind of like, I pushed a lot of people away. And if I got asked to do something or go on a date, I'd be like, I've got to train.
Yeah.
So I could probably see you after. And then they'd be like, post-workout burger. And I'm like, no, the fats are too high. So my post-workout needs to be clean. And I was so like, no, like, this is what I need. Because what I didn't want to do is get on stage and go, oh, well, that was because Dave, like, distracted me for 6 months. Like,
Dave distracted me for 7 months, mate. But Dave
really, like,
also said to me, I understand you're an athlete. I understand that there are cycles that you go through. I think you're sexy no matter what. And I'm going to think it then. To be honest, he has no idea because he doesn't realise you look like a skeleton with muscles when you're lean. I would much rather date at 65 kilos than 55. And if anyone finds me attractive in my lean body, I'm wondering about them.
Yeah,
I know what's wrong with you.
No.
Gemma's saying, aren't you scared of dieting? Oh, God, Patrick's here. Hi, Patrick. Are you scared that dieting would be harder with more body fat to lose? I'm going to tell you something, Gem, about me and Hannah is we believe in ourselves when it comes to the prep. Like, I know that of Hannah as well.
Yeah.
There is no way I'm not going to diet it off.
No.
Even if I have to walk for 24 hours a day in the last 2 weeks, I'll do it. Like, but I'm very
for it.
lucky. Like, I lean up easily, don't I? So
I do not, Gemma.
I don't lose weight for the first 4 to 6 weeks, but my body composition changes. And I think it's why I'm so unattached from my scale weight is because it goes up at the start.
The more people you talk to, the more people say that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something important for, like, first-time competitors. They need to realise that first 4 weeks, the worst bit about it is if you were a dick before you started prep and you ate some shit, you're going to drop some water weight in your first week and be like, I'm living the dream. And then the next week, you don't lose any weight. And you won't for like a month. And you're like, what's going on?
I dropped down to maintenance calories 3 weeks before prep. And it makes it easier to diet because I haven't dieted I always take a year off. So I compete every other year. I always go ham in my off season. And then I need to diet a little bit or be more controlled before the diet, because otherwise that 2018 I didn't do that. I went straight to 1800 calories and I've been eating about 3.5 and I thought I was gonna die. I went straight to 2000 calories and I honestly thought I was gonna die. I was so empty and I just thought I can't do this again. So yeah, I don't do that. But the thing is about putting on the weight, if you want to improve, You've got to find out what works best for your body.
If you want to stay lean in off season and then step on stage and look exactly the same, which, no offense, I've seen a ton of girls do.
I've done it. Yeah.
Look exactly the same. And then they're like, oh, look at my before and after. And you're like, babes, they're the same. Like, you're not changed. If anything, you've lost muscle.
Yeah. I think that you can obviously build muscle in a smaller surplus. I'll be honest, my coach told me to only do a 300 calorie surplus if I wanted to stay leaner. So she's a coach. She's coached multiple women. They've obviously had results doing that. But I know that if I came second again, I would be like, you held yourself back. Yeah. And for all the years that I tried to maintain my body composition at 10 kilos over, because I still had good body composition, I grew slowly. And for this year that I just detached from it, I'm growing quickly, and it's crazy how much quicker, and that suits my body. That doesn't mean it's going to work for someone else, right? Yeah. And I think there's too many people just look up to their idols on Instagram, who half of them are pros already, so they've already built their physique, and they're trying to emulate what they're doing because they're hoping to get the same results, but they don't realize just how individual we are. And even the training stimulus, like mine might be completely different to yours, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to build more muscle than me.
Well, let's look at us, right? So we're completely different. So you're I'm sure you're naturally quite slim. I'm naturally quite stocky. You don't put on muscle quickly. I will pack it on to the point where people have said to me, oh, okay, so you're an Anavar and Claire? It's not like, do you do that? It's like you assume that I'm both.
Take it as a compliment, mate.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like people, and that's what I'm trying to do this year, and like show that I do get chunky, and I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not doing throwbacks every day to what I looked like when I was lean. Like, this is me, and this is how I'm putting on muscle. So when I come back next year, and I will be undeniable again, because I'm coming for those placings again, like it's not acceptable to me. And that's the thing, like I'm not gonna do less. So you get chunky, but like what you do, and you having 3,000 calories, and that's how you grow. If I did that, I'd be like in a hospital bed. They'd be talking gastric band. It would they'd be like, you need to stop. Because I gain on so much less. So like,
I think all of us are so individual, aren't we? Like I don't recover well because of my age, whereas Natalie Moncrief, we're the same age, and she's a fucking beast. Like, and she's never injured. I mean, she's got impeccable form, but she is one of the strongest girls I know. She trains like she's not natural, and she is, and she obviously recovers, otherwise she wouldn't be able to do it again and again and again. But she's also in her late 30s, Natalie. How did this happen? Guys, I need a minute. Wait, but we're kicking asses of these 21-year-old girls, so we're doing right. And
I'm with you in the 30s. I'm 31 in like 2 months.
I've really seen you grow as a person, and your relationship with your physique grow since I can remember when we first met, and I was trying to encourage you to do a before and after, and you said that you'd never put your before body up because you were so embarrassed. And I could really tell then just how much you didn't like the way you looked, which is normal for someone in off season. But then yesterday you did an off season photo shoot, and I was literally like a teacher, like, oh, my pupil, she's finally made it. Because you obviously got such a more positive interaction with your weight gain this year. So, what do you think it is that has changed inside your head to make you accept how you are right now, or how you're going to be in the coming months before you do your next diet?
Like when I say I hated my body last year, like I absolutely hated it. I remember Jodie and my friend Kaylee coming over, and we like did a weekend and they were showing me their check-in pictures, and they were like, oh my god, I feel huge. And I literally sat there and I showed them my check-in picture to be like, if you feel bad, then this is mine. And I was like, you look so good. Like, I wish I looked that good because I felt so bad. And I stopped checking in completely at the start of my prep. I didn't check in with my coach, like with pictures, for like, I think 6 weeks, because I was just so embarrassed.
I wish I could give you a hug through the phone. You're getting emotional, and I'm like stroking my cat like fucking some evil genius. Like,
but I swear, like, I just, oh my, I can't tell you how much I hated how I looked.
Do you feel like you're less of a person when you're bigger? Like you're worth less or something? Like, I don't know many people that get as upset as you do. Don't get me wrong, we all get upset. I cry over my off-season body, not this time, but that I've done 2 heavy bulks, and the other one I just used to cry in the middle of the street after dinner. And the thing is, I wouldn't go to dinner and make smarter choices because I felt bigger. I was almost enabling myself. It was just a vicious circle that I'd eat all the shit anyway. I still eat all my prep food. Like, don't get me wrong, you obviously still have to fuel your body. Yeah. But I was eating anything, basically. And my boyfriend at the time wouldn't realise that I felt so uncomfortable. I've been skinny all my life. I've never had excess body fat until bodybuilding. And I would just cry. And I can remember my friend gave us these vouchers for an afternoon tea at this beautiful place. And we went, and I was just like, we'd never been to somewhere nice like that. And it was like lovely place to have pictures. And the waiter took our picture, and they took 2, and I just burst into tears. Like, first of all, I think you really need to wear fake tan in off season to really like yourself.
I had this fat right
arm, and obviously your arm is against your body, so it's
like, man, that's all it is.
Oh God, it was so bad. And he's like this beautiful young fitness model, and I'm just look like a balloon. I looked like Michelin Man, you're right. And I actually saw the pictures yesterday for the first time since. I mean, we're talking 2017, 2016. And I just remember just how uncomfortable and how unhappy I was. And I went and cried in the toilets, and I like fussed, and I didn't really have anything to cover up, but I wanted to cover up. But I knew that if I covered up, I'd look bigger. Yeah. Because that is what happens, isn't it? You put on something really baggy, and actually you look bigger half the time. And I just remember I hated myself, and I felt so ugly, and I'd never really attached anything to the way I look before, because I've always been the ugly duckling until literally the last few years. Yeah. I wasn't an attractive young child. But yeah, I just felt like, what is he doing with me? And I constantly accused him of cheating on me with younger, thinner, slimmer girls that are in like better proportion than I was at the time. I don't know where I got all of these insecurities from, because to my knowledge, he didn't do any of that. I just caused these issues because I was so insecure and so unhappy with the way I looked.
You hate yourself so much that you can't fathom for a second that man could possibly find you attractive. There is no, like, in your head, like, there is no way. And then they'll go like, well, I'm in off season 2 and I've gained weight. And you're like, hun, you men don't gain weight in the same way. Yeah. You just get full and sexy, and then we just get full and full. And it's just totally different.
Although, boobs and bum, always a good thing.
I literally said to my coach the other day, I was like, I'll take the tits and the batty if it means I've got to have a little belly. Like, I'm fine with it.
I'm not joking. Like, I've been dating Mike since my prep last year. So he's seen me get super lean, super quick. And then he saw the 10-kilo rebound. And the 10-kilo rebound, he was like, this is the body. And I felt quite comfortable then, although I was just looking at stretch marks and rolls. Like. And now I've put on another 8 kilos, and he's in heaven. Yeah. Because my bum is literally... And he even said, thank Lily for the new bum. And it's so funny, because if it wasn't for him, I'd probably feel a lot more negative about my current weight gain. Yeah. And I know that you shouldn't let someone else validate you and how you feel, but it's natural. We're only human, right?
Okay, so you shouldn't let someone validate that. But equally, and this is something else, like when you step off stage, not only are you having shitty feelings about yourself, but then people, my God, why do people think it's okay to comment on your physique constantly? How much have you gained now?
Yeah.
What have you eaten today? What's your what do you want to eat at the weekend? Like, can we go for food? I bet you love that. I bet you've been stuffing your face. Like, could you shut up for a second, please?
After my competition, there was a guy at my gym and I fancied him. And I was on the verge of asking him out. We get on really, really well. And I was about 4 weeks post-show and he went, well, you've blown up. And I just thought, fuck you. And I never asked him out. Yeah. I went home thinking I was fat. And when I look back, I mean, 4 weeks post-show, I must have had a few kilos on me.
Yeah.
I looked better. I know I must have done now. But at the time, I just felt watery and bloated. You know, I was eating more. I do get very bloated. I've always got a round stomach unless I'm in prep because I've cut out all the fun food that makes me bloated. But yeah, I've found that people, even with the girls around me that have competed last year, they're in their off season now and people just comment how fat they are, thinking it's funny. And it's like, it's not fucking
It's like
funny.
they feel they have a right to say
it.
And you're like, you have no right to comment on me. Because if you turned around and you were like, wow, you look like shit, they'd be like, how dare you say that to me? And you're like, no, sorry, that's what you've just said to me.
Like, Gemma said, do you think it's more acceptable to compete for bodybuilding feds to put on more body fat for growth? Yes, definitely. I compete in fitness feds and feel like there's pressure to stay lean all year round. Do you feel this? I'm going to be honest. I don't pay any attention to any other federation than the one I compete in. Because I feel like
even pay attention to them.
No.
I do what I want to do for me.
Yeah,
you've got to grow into the federation you want to be in or the category, but fuck what anyone else is doing, because at the end of the day, they're not judging you in your off season.
Yeah,
they're judging you on that 5 minutes you're on stage.
If you've got people in your life that judge you or comment on your weight or try and put value on the way you look, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Get rid of them, because the least important thing about us is the way we look, right? Yeah. Like, I really do feel like all those people that were negative about my off season, because I had some negativity from a really old friend, good friend, who told me I looked pregnant. I just cut him out. And we've been friends for 20 years and he could not believe it. And he was really vicious and was just literally like, I just don't think you're anything special. You're not doing anything better than any other girl in this gym, blah, 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 blah. And then I became British champion 4 months later. And it was just like, well, actually, I've done a little bit something better. For that one day that I was on that stage against those girls. But still, I can remember he said to my friend, like, no one can ever take that away from her now, and was trying to congratulate me. And I was like, you're not in my life anymore. No, if you're not going to support me, you don't even have to support me in bodybuilding. Just don't fucking comment. I don't understand the people that troll, that say negative things if they're not worried about your health. Now, I can get it if one of my loved ones that isn't into bodybuilding comes to me in my competition prep and says, I'm worried about you. You know, you don't look well. You know, you've lost so much weight so rapidly. Are you okay? And I'd be like,
no, why the fuck should you accept that?
Oh, no, do you know what? If it's because they're worried about my health, I don't talk about bodybuilding with my friends that don't compete. That's why I've got the 2 Instagrams that's separate. So my best friend, I've been best friends with her since I was 14. We've never discussed competing. She has no idea what it is. She knows when I win, and she's proud of me.
Because you're like this.
Because I'm like, hey, Facebook, look at this.
Look what I did
for a year, but here's my trophy. But, you know, she's very proud of me and she supports me by not talking about it, but because she's not interested, and I completely get it. It's boring as fuck. She doesn't care how much I can squat. She knows I'm strong. But if she thought it was damaging, she would speak to me about it, but she never has, because she knows what I'm like. You know, I would never, if something happened to my health in a prep, that was so detrimental that it was going to be an issue, I'd pull out of the prep. That's the kind of person I am.
100%.
I know there's a lot of people that wouldn't do that and they'd continue, but that's not for me. Rebecca said, can you talk more about the PCA British finals and competing it this year? Did you find nerves were bad or any tips for controlling nerves on stage? I got drunk backstage, so I take a hip flask of vodka and then what?
Don't do that because you will fall over.
No, you won't. If
You'll be
you were a party
sassy,
girl when you
that
were
little
younger,
hand will get a little bit more.
so in my 20s, I was a party girl, so I can be drunk in heels, no problem. And then I haven't worn them for years.
But like, not, I couldn't do it on stage.
Oh, I do shots backstage. I can remember Natalie. I was like, "Do you want some of this?" And she was like, "No, do you want some vitamin C?" And you know, if you take too much of vitamin C, which we all do in peak week, you shit yourself. So I was literally like, you're going to shit yourself if you're not careful. And she's just chomping because she's so hungry. And I was just getting a bit drunk. It takes away, I get seriously bad nerves on stage and I'm shaking the whole time. So I just need to dull that a little bit. I wonder if it will be the same next time. I just don't know. Every time I've been on stage it's been different, but every single time I've been almost frozen with fear. The first show of 2017, I was standing in the wings. I was the first one to walk on and I almost didn't go.
So I'm the same, except so I'm like so nervous at the side of the stage that the girls around me who I'm about to compete with are like, babe, it's going to be fine.
I've had that as well.
Like, don't talk to me.
No, I had one girl, I was like, I need to go to the toilet. And I'm taped in, right? You can't go to the fucking toilet.
That's it.
I'm taped in and I'm literally about to go out. And the one girl goes, why don't you just go to the toilet quickly? What, so I can miss the show? I was going to lock Natalie in the toilets at the World. I should have done because she won. What tips would you give anyone that is about to embark on a proper bulk? Not just a improvement season, going to try and keep it tight. Ones that want to take advantage of the food, especially why no one can see us. Like, what would the tips that you would give them now to kind of deal with how you're going to feel about yourself?
Accept it and suck it up. Like, if you want to be, as we've said, undeniable, I'm not going to say man up because I don't like that phrase, woman up, get heavy, eat good food. Don't like just ram shit down your face. A protein bar is not a meal. Stop doing that. It's not good.
I feel personally attacked.
Whole foods, but you do eat whole foods, but
I do.
Up.
I eat a lot of whole food, but people don't realise because I don't post it that much because it's fucking boring.
Boring.
Yeah.
Like, I ate egg whites and veg today and a bagel thin. Did I post it? No, because it's boring as shit. But if I had like a bit of cheesecake, I absolutely would post it because cheesecake is life. But yeah, like, eat really good food because remember, like, your off season, what you put in is what you get out. So eat good leafy green veg. Just because you're on a lot of food and you haven't got much appetite, don't neglect your veg because
digestion.
That's what's going to help with digestion. It's going to make your hair and your skin better. And when you're feeling like an absolute lump, you want to at least have shiny hair.
Yeah.
You want to have glowing skin.
For me, it's a little bit of eyeliner. Well. Always perks me up. I think that you do need to make enough effort with your appearance for you so that you feel better. 100%. So if you want to wear lipstick, red lipstick, do it. If you want to wear eyeliner, if you want to curl your fucking hair for an hour, don't let anyone else be like, why are you doing that? It's lockdown. Because I'm fat.
Because I want to. Because I want to. I look disgusting.
Yeah. I know. That first lockdown, I was lean, wasn't I? I was in a comp prep. I didn't wear makeup for the first 6 weeks of that lockdown. And by the end of the 6 weeks, I felt gross. It didn't have anything to do with being lean. I just hadn't made an effort with my appearance. And my skin was so shiny.
Yeah.
But
I talk so many girls, and they were like, I feel shit. And I'm like, yeah, because you're not having your nails done and you didn't bother to do it yourself. You've let your eyebrows grow out because you wanted to like get them done when you get out of lockdown. So you've got like a unibrow. You're not getting your hair done because obviously they're all shut down. You've not worn makeup. You've stopped shaving because you're like, well, I'm not wearing shorts in the gym, or I'm not going out in a dress, so I'll just let my hair grow out. And you're a bit like, you're not getting dressed up. You're in pajamas like 24/7. And then you wonder why you feel crap.
I think that the mood board, vision board that you mentioned earlier is a great thing to have as well.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those, but I'm constantly reminding myself of my why. Like, why am I doing this? And how long have I got left? It's not that long. 4 months, for example, as lockdown has just proved to us that we've just taken this whole year. It's not that long. And if you work out how many workouts that is as well, it's not that fucking many workouts that you've got. And this is when you make the shape, you know.
The other thing is, like, if you look at your off season as well, and people go, well, my last show's in October, I'm not doing another one until August, say. Right, yeah, but you've got time to come out of that, and then you've got time to go back into it. So you've taken 2 chunks either end of your off season. So you've actually got a short period in the middle. So if you've got a short off season, get fat and get lifting heavy. Like, don't waste your time. Like, I'm gonna reverse slowly out and look okay. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, get some muscle on you.
I just want to lift heavy. Yeah. And now, because of Lily, it has to be high rep. So I have to eat. And I think that might be what clicked inside me, is that food is fuel for me now. Yeah. And I still eat terribly sometimes, but I eat very well all the time as well. You know, do meal prep. I meal prep
your shit on top. Yeah.
And I still eat protein bars and shit like that if I want to. I don't, but I have a minimum, for me, I have a minimum calorie and protein target to meet. And then I can eat anything over the top of that. And I never feel guilty about food, because you only live once.
Yeah.
Right? And the food was delicious. And it's just that this time round, I'm going to say to my coach, I think instead of doing a 16-week prep, which we usually do, let's do 20.
Yeah.
I'll have extra time because I've got extra weight, but I'll be ready early. Yeah. And then we can play around with carb up protocols, and, you know, I could eat at maintenance for a little while, which really, my muscle loves being at maintenance. It just matures like, I think people don't eat at maintenance enough. So in your after your post show, do you go, I know you reversed out of this last diet, but before then, have you ever just gone straight back in? Because I go straight back to surplus. I don't even go to maintenance. I want all the muscle.
The first year I competed, I didn't realize I was going to compete. I just wanted to see how lean I could get, and then 3 weeks out got offered to do a show, and I was like, okay. Then 7 weeks later did the British finals. So I was like, I didn't even follow any bikini girls. I didn't even know any, really. So I only knew the ones that went to my gym, and I was like one of the only ones. So I didn't really know what to do. And my coach was there, but they're not there every day stopping you put stuff in your mouth.
No.
And I had a lot of people around me being like, oh, like, we should eat, we should do this, we should do that. And I did gain really, really quick. But that was a really steep learning curve for me, because, like, we were talking about men earlier on, I had a lot of men saying a lot of really, really unkind things because I got so big so quick. So I got a pretty tough shell after that. And after that, I was chunky in my first off season, and I wasn't okay with it.
Who were the men that were saying stuff? God. I hope you've got them out.
A whole mix. So I remember being in a bar, and this guy looked at me. There was 3 guys, and I was there with 2 of my friends, and they were like, it was that thing of like, oh, let's all pick one and hit on them, kill me. They were like skinny indie kids, like, not for me. And he looked at me and he was like, I'd never date someone like you. Look at how big your leg is. And I was sitting next to him, and I went, look at your skinny leg. I would never date someone like you. Inside, I was dying, but on the face of it, you front it and you're like, you're rank, don't talk to me. But then like I had people in the gym being like, so how much weight have you put on now? And then I had like my family and friends like pushing me to go out for food. And then you'd see like, I don't know, your aunt who you hadn't seen in 2 months. And they're like, oh shit, what happened to you? So you had all that.
Yeah.
Then my second off season, it was more, I gained more. I did in my first, but I had a whole different attitude to it because I knew what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, I hate myself, but I know that everyone that is trying to be all kind of like skinny and fit and Instagram, whatever, they're going to look no different next year.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think
so
that
I just kind of went straight to maintenance, or if not more, last year.
Yeah. I think that what you
sure.
said about trying to be all Instagram is also very true. Like, if you follow accounts that really do only show themselves when they're lean and they don't add any value to your life, unfollow them or mute them. Like, I have legitimately have to send my friends at Whipped London, the cheesecake place, a message saying, I have to mute you now because I'm going into prep. I love you and I will be back in 16 weeks. But I can't see that every day. I can't have temptation thrust in my face every day because you're only human, right? And when you're hungry, you can do some crazy things.
Oh, I remember like in prep turning around to some of my best mates and saying to them dead serious, if you send me any more food pages,
I've done it.
I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, I did it in the group chat with other competitors, and myself and one other was in prep, and they kept sending food, and I flared, and I was just like, why the fuck are you being like this? Like, I will leave this group.
No,
and then the other girl was
DM
like,
you an account. You're
yeah,
like,
it doesn't bother me. And I'm like, it's so disrespectful to do that.
Yeah.
But then I always catch myself wanting to send it to certain people because I know they'll love it, and then I'm like, fuck, they're in prep, I can't. But it takes one to know one, right? Maybe if I hadn't done it myself before, I wouldn't get like that. But I don't get obsessed over food. I don't obsess over food accounts. Like, I think that is so unhealthy. My first prep I did. On my first prep, I'd be looking at food on Instagram.
I don't sit there and look at it, and I do like cull my accounts every now and again.
Yeah.
But and if you were to send me something like a gingerbread thing, because you know how much I love gingerbread, I'd be like, she sent that to me because it's something she knows I love.
Yeah.
But it's like those people that I swear to God will just send you food on food on food on food. And you're like, do you know what? I don't even want it. I'm just sick of you constantly putting food in my head. I'm hungry. You're on more food than me. Go away. Like, leave me alone. I'm on the Stairmaster and you're sending me pictures of cookies. Like, fuck off. I've got 45 minutes left to do. I want to cry and you're sending me food again. Like, just stop.
So we're coming to the end of the live. So is there anything else that you really want to say about this topic that we haven't discussed?
One thing that I've done differently this year, which has been an absolute game changer for me, is out loud I say to myself, you look good. Where instead of standing there going, oh my God, as if you don't even look in the mirror, I'll wake up in the morning and like my mirror's opposite my bathroom, get out of bed and I'm like, okay, you've got a bit of a belly, but like, actually that's all right. That's all right.
I've been doing exactly the same thing.
And you're saying out loud, so you're hearing it. And it's like someone's telling you. And then you feel positive. You put out a positive vibe. And I've had so many, like men and women, being so positive about it. And I think that's genuinely because I'm being positive about me. And people
I haven't had the countdown yet, so maybe it's not going to cut us off. Yesterday it cut me off at 1 hour.
We'll soon find
out.
Guys,
if we abruptly go silent, thanks for watching. But I do think that the power of language and words is so important.
Yeah.
And that first physique update I put on, I've got no fake tan on as well, and I look. And I wrote out a thing justifying it, talking about this, and this is why I'm doing this. And I thought, no, I deleted it all, and I only wrote positive things because it is positive that I have got to a point where I can even share that. There's no thirst traps going on around here at the moment.
The other thing is, if you write like, oh, I'm not feeling myself this week, blah, 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 people jump on the comments and they're like, me too. And oh, you can do this. And it almost becomes this really negative trail of just people trying to be positive. And I get that people want to do that. But you've started that and you've created that negative space. Yeah. Whereas if you jump on there and you do an update, like a check-in or whatever, and you're like, actually, I feel pretty good about this. People will be positive back to you.
You kind of brainwash yourself, don't you, when you do these affirmations? Like, I had to do it when I was trying to become just a more positive person in general. I used to be very cynical. And even following all those positivity pages and stuff, some of it at first was so alien, but I'd keep on reading it. I'd keep on saying it out loud. I'd keep on, like, letting it soak in. And that's what I've been doing about this weight gain now. And, like, I don't try and hide it anymore. I used to, even going to the gym with my big jumper and stuff, no matter how hot I'd get, I would still train. Whereas now, I'll just take it off and train in my bra and leggings. Not one of those people gives a shit. They want me to train hard because they're training too. And they respect what I'm doing. I've got a lot of respect from people this year for actually just committing to the cause and just going for it in a sea of fake people in the industry. Now, obviously not everyone's fake, but there's so much of it, it's unreal. So people are just crying out for some authenticity, for some reality, and putting your actual physique on. It shouldn't be deemed as brave. People are like, you're so brave. I'm like, it's not brave to put your fat body on the internet. Like
your normal body.
Yeah.
Not that body.
This isn't my normal body.
If you walked it right, and this is the other thing.
I don't think I'm ever going back to 65 kilos in my normal. I think I'll probably be about 68 and be happy because I want this bum. I want this face. I want to look younger than you. Because at the moment, I'm pulling it off. No, but I don't even have any fillers anymore, you know. I did have those fucking things put in, didn't I? But it only worked on one side. But the fat face makes you look younger. You got to focus on the positives.
My skull face does nothing for me.
Honestly, we've both got quite a strong jawline as well. So when we come in, I got in a cab once and I told the guy, I had a gym bag, and he said, oh, what have you been doing at the gym? I said, oh, I do bodybuilding. And he said, oh, so is it because of the steroids you've got such a big jaw? But I just laugh because I don't give a fuck, right? No, hun, I was born like this.
No, I just have a really, really heavy set jaw.
It's why I couldn't bang in loads of steroids, because I'm too scared about what will happen.
Because my Adam's apple will catch up with my jaw.
Oh, honestly. No, I just think it takes a lot of strength to be uncomfortable and to be okay with it, because you can be uncomfortable but be okay with it at the same time, right? I'm uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. I can talk about it so positively and I can put my pictures online, but I still do wince as I press upload. You know, I still don't feel my best, but I know I'm like in that caterpillar stage before I become the butterfly, because underneath this little bit of extra body fat that I'm carrying is my dream body that I'm working so hard to create.
So my takeaway was, it was ages ago. I can't even remember when. I can't remember what physique I was at. But I turned around to my coach and I was like, I just want to look like a normal girl. I want to look like the girls on the street. Like when I go out with my bikini girlfriends, I feel fine because we all look like that. Yeah. When I go out with my friends or my family that don't train, I feel huge. And I'm like, oh my God. Because we put the fat on, but we've got the muscle underneath. So we look even bigger.
Yeah.
And he was like, babe, you don't look normal. You will never look normal, and you shouldn't want to look normal. And then I was at the supermarket and I was watching like this reality TV series as well. And I was looking at all the girls had like strap tops on and none of them had shoulders. And I just got really weird. It was really weird. I was like, why the fuck?
I find it so strange when girls don't have delts now.
I'm like,
it's the way round.
What's going on? And it was that point I was like, I don't want spaghetti arms.
Mm.
I love having like wham shoulders. Like I don't want spindly little arms. And that was the point. And that was the turning point for me. I was like, I don't want to look normal. I don't want to do that.
The first time, the first off season and the first proper bulk, when you first start to get delts, is when you'll feel your absolute biggest and your fattest, because you feel so butch and
You
so
feel
hitched. And when you diet down, it never comes back the same. So now, even at my biggest, I've still got delts, but I do have the little dip in between my tricep and my bicep and my delt. And I didn't have that before. I just had delts underneath. I look like a fucking rugby player.
Yeah.
But this off season, where I must have higher body fat percentage, I'm certainly the heaviest. I don't look butch. I look athletic, but chunky, but funky.
It's like, so with every, and that's another thing, like girls, if you're feeling in your first off season, you need to remember, and guys, your composition changes every single time. So like I still, if I tense up or if I turn in the right way, I can still see lines in my stomach where I'm like 11 kilos up, 12 kilos up. I shouldn't be able to see that. I've still got lines in my back. I can still see my tie in a little bit. I can still see my splits. And when I look at it like that, I'm like, I'm a lot bigger. I can still see these lines. And that's something I put on, like when I'm checking in as well. Like my coach always goes to me, Han, you've still got lines, you've still got shape, so we're good. Like, don't worry about the scales. And someone said that they're like, don't get obsessed with the scales. They don't mean anything.
No,
they don't. You said the other night with Erin, like, no one cares about the scales. We're not even being, you don't even need to be a weight to be on stage. No one gives a shit.
Amanda says it's hard to keep the faith that there will be muscle underneath when you're gaining. I personally, my body is rock hard this year in my off season, but it never has been before. Patience, because obviously the more muscle mass you've got underneath, the harder you're going to be, and it needs to have it needs to mature. And so I started training in 2014, and it's only in 2020 that I'm actually solid, like absolutely solid. And it's just because my muscles maturing and growing. But I remember that first bulk, I was exactly the same. I was like, is it fat or is it muscle?
But also, like, it's a science, and this is something else people forget. Like, you're not going to eat like that. You're not going to train like that. Your numbers aren't going to go up on the scale in the gym. Like, you're logging your lifts, and what you think you're not putting on tissue? Yeah. Literally not possible. If you're lifting more and you're eating more, you will be putting on tissue. And that's when you need to just woman up, as I said earlier on, and just be like, I'm doing this. Yeah, that's it. I'm doing it. And people, they want to see, they're so inquisitive, they're so impatient. They're like, I'm going to do a mini cut. And you're like, no.
I'm not a mini cut kind of gal.
No, neither am I.
There's no point. You only cut down usually for your own comfort zone, right? Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's other benefits to it, but usually it's because you feel uncomfortable. But as you said, you just got to suck it up. Focus on the goal. I think about being called forward in first place at my next competition every single day. It's like it's almost like the manifestation and an affirmation. I did it for the British. I saw sorry Nat, I love you. I saw Nat being called forward in second, and me then being called forward in first. Every fucking day that I did my cardio, that is what was in my head, and it is what happened. So I'm a witch, so you guys better be fucking careful and not piss me off. I will put a spell on you. But no, you know, like, I just think obviously, I mean, you can't manifest stuff like that. I'm a scientist, but you can recognize the opportunity that's there for you, and you can take it by the bloody balls. So yeah, now I just honestly think about, because I don't know who I'm competing against this year, I think about walking forward in first. Sometimes I think about being called forward in second. When I'm wobbling, when I'm thinking, shall I do a mini cut? You know, when everyone flocked to Dubai, the reason I didn't go to Dubai is my stomach. It's pathetic. I have never been to Body Power because it's always been when I'm not lean, and I felt too fat to go. I paid £100 to go to Melissa Hayward and what's the Ashley seminar, a glute building seminar. I didn't go because I felt too fat. You know, I just held myself back from all these opportunities and experiences because I was worried how I looked. But not one other person gives a shit what I look like. And I kick myself for it, and I'm annoyed at myself, but it's all a learning curve, right? It'll never happen again. Well, it's been lovely, but we've been talking for a really long time. And I don't think anyone that listens to this over their cardio wants to do an hour and 10 minutes of cardio. Because is that what you always do, right? You do the catch-ups on the cardio?
I have like subscribed to YouTube for like 10 or 15 people. I've got like TV series and all that. And I will save them. Like Phoebe's YouTubes, they're too short. I'm like, it's not enough for my cardio. I do an hour. So I'll be like watching. Yeah, I'll be watching like the big guys like Kuba doing a leg session or whatever because it's like an hour. And it'll be the same leg session that the guys shot like 2 weeks ago, and they're saying exactly the same thing, but it's an hour, so it will take me over that time. But
well, thank you so much for coming.
Good.
I like seeing our more like potato faces together.
Oh, there's
hopefully, hopefully you both train for you first. Don't be worried what others think. Danny, you're completely right. I definitely didn't always do it for myself at first, but now I do. But I only trained to compete. I had never been to the gym before that. And I was thinking today, like when I finish competing, this is such a part of my lifestyle now. I'll always want to go.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I will be doing another live on Friday at 7 with Natalie. So Natalie will have a completely different view on what we've been saying today, because she is so committed to the end result that she does not care what she looks like right now. And I find that quite refreshing as well. But it's been so refreshing to hear.
Like her?
Yeah, but you know, more people will relate to how you have felt in your last off season, I think, because that's much more common to feel so uncomfortable. And so I think it's really valuable to hear from people that can be honest about it. And please just keep sharing your off season this off season to keep inspiring me to keep putting mine on. I can't even wear my check-in bikini.
Huh?
My chins, I've got a very specifically height tripod because on my laptop, the webcam's at the bottom of the screen. It's literally like, hey guys.
Hey, you're right. Yeah.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll speak to you soon. Thank you guys. Lots of love.
Bye.